Hey y'all, Chris from 8 Bells Watch Company. Hope you're doing well. I figured I'm in the car, I'm waiting for In and Out. Might as well just do a TikTok because that's where everybody does them, right? I think you do look better in the. I had posted a recent batch of watches that I retained from a good buddy of mine. He wanted me to sell them for him. I've done this before, and in that batch was some Certina watches, and actually maybe just one watch, but Connor, who, if you're not following him, why? He's hilarious. He's a jeweler. He's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. But he had this question about, he had never heard Certina. What I love about this community is that you learn so much from everybody that's a part of it, right? I mean, we're contributing, we're listening, we're trying our best to really understand what's out there, what's available. And I think there's a good opportunity to talk about, one of the ones that's sort of like a hidden gem, I think. For those of you who don't know, Certina is a watch brand, a Swiss watch brand, lesser known. And they have I think, a lot of really cool looking watches, both quartz and automatic. And I'm going to show you some and see if they kind of look. This is one of my favorite ones. It's their chrono. Kind of looks like a certain type of watch, don't you think? Something with an O, maybe. More on that. This is more their sort of the, more casual cushion case, Milanese bracelet. That's a good looking watch. Stainless steel, sapphire crystal, AR coating on one side, date. I mean, not bad. I really like this one. This is a bigger one because I'm part of the big wrist regiment. This is a 43 millimeter dive field type watch. This one's automatic. On the NATO, looks really cool. There's an orange version of this too that looks really. Here's their most popular, I think, the dive watch. That's a ceramic bezel, and white dial, date, automatic movement, nice, cool. Here's another cool chrono they have, automatic, tachometer, sun ray dial, cool. This one comes. You may notice that a lot of them on the dial say DS, and that's Certina's sort of technological enhancement to their watches. It's like a shock absorber. So over here, let's see. So you see it has this dome sapphire crystal, and it has this O-ring that goes around the watch and protects the movement. There's a seal, and the movement itself is actually screwed into the case. So if you haven't heard of Certina, they're part of the Swatch Group. And here are some of the other ones that are part of the Swatch Group. But you see there, this is kind of like their second level tier watches. They have Mito. They class them with Mito, Hamilton, Calvin Klein, which is just, I think, the fashion brand, not the watch. Anyway, if you look at some of their watches, I'm going to pick this one. They kind of have that Omega E look. And I think they're kind of like the lesser version of Omega, even in an official capacity. But these are great, solid watches. Their movements are Swiss made. They're usually Ronda quartz, modified by them, obviously, or Edamut. Again, all Swiss made, stainless steel, dome sapphire crystal, with AR, ceramic bezels. Although this one I think has an aluminum bezel. So again, what I love about this watch community is that we have such great opportunity to learn and explore and discover new and exciting things. And I think Certina is a good example of that. For the money, these are all usually sub 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. The quartz go down to like 500. And on the secondary market, you can find them really, really cheap. But for the money, the quality you're getting from a Swatch Group, I mean, I would pick this over the Omega Moon Swatch any day of the week. Of course, there's a difference in price, but even if you think of the one with the NATO strap or some other watch, this is a great brand to have. And what I've learned, what is being part of this community, is that there's so many opportunities to learn and discover new watches, and to really understand that it's really not about the name that you should look for. Now, obviously, if it's a Rolex, you understand that attached to that name Rolex, there are certain qualities that come with that watch. Same with like a Citizen or a Timex or a Seiko. But a brand like Certina, which doesn't have that name or brand recognition, is when you start looking at the quality of the materials. And there's some, you all know, there's some other watches out there that are like, you see in your Instagram or you see on your feed, social media feeds, and you're like, oh, what is that? They look cool and you sound cool, but at the price, and then when you start looking at the materials being used, the movements, the type of crystal being used, you can start to discern, okay, is this really value for the money? It's not to say that those watches are bad. It's just to say, are they worth the amount that you're paying? That's why I never say no to a watch if somebody wants to sell it, wants me to help them sell it, because I think there's a great opportunity, a learning opportunity. And with Certina, I'll tell you what, that watch, the one I had, it sold before I could even put it on the website. I did put it on the website, but I did like a sneak preview, that same TikTok that I did, and the watch sold. Someone DM'd me, and it sold quickly. So it's one of those if you know type watches. So anyway, thanks again for the question, Connor. Thanks for the likes. Again, my name is Chris with 8 Bells Watch Company. Hopefully have some more stuff for you soon.